FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
That is that after the argument was held, the Supreme Court justices, they go and they vote. They voted the very same week. It's a preliminary vote. It's not binding forever, but they do make a preliminary vote. Had everyone gone to their respective corners and waited for the result, then I think what Jack's instinct was to be the same as my instinct was. It's a case of first impression. It means it's a hard case, and any way it goes, the court will not be faulted for whichever way it rules. But then what happened is the president went on the very next week and started criticizing the justices for if in fact they rule against him. Now this was after an initial conference vote was taken. And then he clarified his remarks the next day, and we had a whole other news cycle about that. We then had an outpouring of political punditry, both by law professors and by people in the press, excoriating the Chief Justice for the possibility that he might be responsible for a 5-4 decision that strikes down the president's signature legislation and deeply politicized this decision, culminating in a speech from the floor by the Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman, Pat Leahy, who also said that he trusts the Chief Justice is not going to engage in this. All of this happened after the case was taken under advisement. The case had already been submitted. And the problem that this creates, because of the timing, not because of what was said, not because people don't have freedom of speech to say these things, because of the timing of it, is that now, if it turns out that the court upholds the law, there's always going to be the suspicion, and if it's the fact, we're going to find out about it very quickly, that in fact one or two justices may have bent to the will of the other branches. And if that perception gets out there, that will be damaging to the legitimacy of the court. Not the whole court and not forever, but it will at least be damaging to the legitimacy of the justices, I think, who flipped, because it'll suggest that they did not stand up to the political pressure being brought to bear on them, both by the chattering classes as well as by the other political branches. And I think that's highly, highly unfortunate.
Do you buy that?